friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my personal experience with taking herbs for acid reflux and how I eventually was able to wean off of my medication. So as a disclaimer, all of my videos have this disclaimer that I am not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you personal medical advice. I'm not a doctor, and you should always talk to your doctor before taking any supplement or changing any medication. So by no means is this video telling you that you should go off of your medication. Absolutely not. Everyone's journey is so different and everyone's needs are so individual, so always talk to a gastroenterologist and a registered dietitian who specializes in gut health before making changes to your individual plan. I was really hesitant to make this video. This is one of the most requested videos that I have gotten in my DMs on Instagram, which if you don't follow me, you should. I am at zucchini.who on Instagram, and I post tons of acid reflux content as well as IBS and gut health content there. Lots of people have been asking me to post about how I took herbs, how I weaned off of medication, and I was really hesitant to make this video because I don't want it to seem like that I am telling people what to do or publicizing my experience as the right way to do things. I definitely don't believe that this is the way that people have to cure their acid reflux. It's so individual. Nutrition and gut health and digestive disorders are so personal, and just because this worked for me does not necessarily mean it may work for every single person. But I think it's interesting to hear other people's stories and experience with acid reflux. So today I'm going to be sharing that with you, and I hope this video is helpful for you. If you have not seen my other videos on acid reflux, I highly recommend going and checking those out. So I have tons of videos on my page about how I got acid reflux, how I cured it, and how I manage my symptoms. I have what I eat in a day videos where I show what I used to eat while I was managing symptoms, and I also have lots of live interviews which are really interesting. There are live interviews on the topics of acid reflux, stomach acid, proton pump inhibitors. Those live interviews are in a live interview playlist on my channel, so definitely go check it out. I feature lots of doctors, gastroenterologists, and functional doctors, as well as registered dietitians. So definitely check those out if you have not already. All right, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the herbs that I took. So I get a lot of questions on my previous videos about exactly how I took the herbs. So I'm going to tell you my personal experience, what I did. By no means is this me telling you what you should do. So I was on a proton pump inhibitor for my acid reflux for, I want to say, about a year. And the proton pump inhibitor that I was on is called omeprazole, and it worked for a little while. It was definitely necessary to help me sort of subside some of the initial irritation and start my healing path, but I didn't want to be on them forever, and they're really not designed to be on forever. PPIs are kind of a controversial topic. Some doctors will tell you that you can be on them forever, no problem. Other doctors will tell you that they're not designed to be on forever, and the conventional doctor that I had on a live interview previously, she also agreed that they're not really designed to be on forever, but she mentioned that she did not believe they had long-term side effects. That's another thing that some functional doctors will tell you. They do have long-term side effects. There has been some research suggesting that they do. There's also research suggesting that they don't. So it's one of those things that you can do your own research and ask your doctor about your individual case and which medication you're on, what the long-term consequences are. I think it's really important to just have that discussion. So I didn't want to be on them forever, and eventually they started to not work so well. So I was still having symptoms, and I didn't really feel like they were making a big difference. This could be because I had low stomach acid at certain times or high stomach acid. It's really tough to tell if you have low stomach acid versus high stomach acid. You can sort of tell based on the symptoms from what I've heard. Some doctors and registered dietitians that I've talked to say that low stomach acid is characterized by a feeling of like a rock in your stomach, like things are not digesting, or you may have burping after a meal. Reasons why you may have low stomach acid: it could be stress, it could be under eating, it could be taking a PPI. PPIs can cause low stomach acid, so if your issue is low stomach acid, then PPIs are not going to be helpful for you. So that's really important to note. And working with a registered dietitian may be helpful in kind of determining what your root causes are for your acid reflux. So I don't really know if I had low stomach acid or high stomach acid. I'm honestly not sure. I thought that I had high stomach acid, but looking back, I may have had low. It's really tough to tell, and I was sort of desperate. I was in undergrad studying to be a registered dietitian, so I had a general idea of the medical nutrition therapy for acid reflux, so I was able to kind of figure out my triggers and modify there, but I was still having symptoms. So I did some research into the research that is available on herbs for acid reflux, and there isn't a ton, I will tell you that, but there are some herbs that are noted in research to be helpful for acid reflux. So I decided to give them a try. I just ordered them off Amazon and honestly wasn't very hopeful that they would work. And I was really aware of the placebo effect, so I knew that when you take a pill, sometimes you feel like you feel better and you may not. But I just really wanted some relief. If you struggle with acid reflux, I feel for you. It is so challenging and can be really isolating. So I just wanted to try something different. And the dosing that I went with is based on what I saw in research, but also just kind of exploring and figuring out what worked for me. So the dosing is not anything a doctor told me. I didn't work with a functional doctor. I did okay this with my doctor before I took them, and I told him I was going to try to wean off of the omeprazole and take these herbs instead. So one thing that's really important to keep in mind in terms of taking herbs while you're taking omeprazole or any other medication is that these herbs coat the lining of the esophagus. That's primarily how they work. So they increase that mucus layer on your esophagus and your throat to help protect from acid erosion. So that means that they can also block the absorption of medication and potentially interact with the medication. So you always want to talk to your doctor before taking them together. But what I read is that it's recommended to take the herbs about 2 hours away from medication. So generally 2 hours before or 2 hours after. Some places I read 1 hour before is fine, and then 2 hours after medication is fine. So personally, what I did is I took the herbs in the morning, and I'll say the exact doses, but I took the herbs at maybe 6 a.m., maybe 6:30, right when I woke up. And then I would wait an hour or an hour and a half, which can be hard if you like to have breakfast early, but waiting about an hour and a half. Then I would take the omeprazole because I had to take the omeprazole before meals, and then have my breakfast about 10 minutes later. And then I would have my second dose of omeprazole when I was still doing 2 doses, twice a day. So I started with omeprazole twice a day and I slowly weaned off of it, which I'll talk about in a moment. I would then have the omeprazole right before dinner, so maybe like 5:30. I try to really have an early dinner with acid reflux. It's really super important if you have acid reflux to eat an early dinner. For most people, that's helpful. So for me, that was really helpful, and I have lots of other tips on acid reflux on my page. But so I would have my second dose of omeprazole before dinner, then have dinner. And then I wait about 2 to 3 hours and have my second dose of the herbs before I went to bed with some water, and not too much water because I was really sensitive to the point where I literally could not drink or eat really anything an hour before I laid down. So I would probably do that an hour before I laid down. Okay, so let's talk about specific amounts of herbs. So the 2 herbs that I personally took were slippery elm and licorice root. I took these in capsule form, however you can take them in powder, and I had a functional doctor on as a live interview guest, and she actually recommended taking them as a powder. So if I have a flare, sometimes I will open the capsules and just have them in powder, but while I was healing, I just had them in the capsules. I took 2 pills of the Now Foods brand slippery elm, which I'll link below. It's not an affiliate link, it's not sponsored at all. And I also took 2 pills of the licorice root. which is by Nature's Way. So I have those links in the description. So 2 pills of each in the morning, about an hour and a half before omeprazole and breakfast, and then 2 pills of each also at night, about 2 hours after omeprazole and dinner. So that's how I started, because I was taking omeprazole twice a day. With that said, I wanted to wean off of omeprazole, so I was taking 2 pills twice a day. The way that my doctor recommended me to wean off of them is to slowly remove 1 pill and try that out for a week. So I was taking the herbs and slowly weaning off of omeprazole by removing 1 pill of omeprazole. I had 2 pills, I think they were each like 10 milligrams or something like that. So I would just take 1 in the morning with breakfast, and then I would continue with my traditional 2 at night before dinner. So I did that for a week, and then the next week I took 1 less pill at night. And then the next week I took no pills in the morning and just took 1 pill at dinner. And then the next week I would alternate days. So as you can see, it was a very slow process. I would say it took longer than just 5 weeks to get rid of the medication, because I had a little bit of that acid rebound effect that's really common when you go off of omeprazole or any other PPI that can happen, where you feel worse. So I really think that the herbs played a pivotal role in protecting my esophagus and my throat, protecting from the acid erosion. So I think that I had less of an acid rebound effect with the herbs. But I instantly noticed as soon as I started taking the herbs that they were helping. So my symptoms were better. I just felt like there was less irritation, and they really did help me prevent symptoms and prevent pain. So eventually I was able to wean off the medication, going really slowly, taking it day by day, and I kept going with the herbs for a few months. So I guess this whole process was probably about 6 months, because I kept taking the herbs every day, twice a day, and eventually I didn't really have symptoms. It was really surprising because of how bad my acid reflux was before, but the herbs were really helpful. And in addition to that, I made sure I was eating enough. So under eating can also be a root cause of acid reflux. I made sure that I was going to the bathroom regularly and that my bowel health was in order. I managed my stress. Stress is really, really important. It can be a huge trigger for either acid suppression or acid production in the stomach. So your stress is intricately connected to your gut health. There's a gut-brain connection. We have a nervous system that regulates our acid production. And so I went to therapy and made sure that I took care of myself by doing yoga and meditation. I have tons of yoga and meditation and also acid reflux friendly yoga on my page. So all of these things really helped me heal. I think the herbs played a pivotal role, but also all of the other things that I did really helped. Another question I get a lot is, do I still have symptoms? And sometimes, but only if I have like multiple glasses of wine or if I eat my triggers, which I do. I eat chocolate pretty much every day now. I eat peanut butter, I drink wine, I drink carbonated drinks a lot. I'm just not that careful anymore because of the fact that I don't have symptoms regularly, but sometimes those triggers do give me a little bit of heartburn, but it's nowhere near the pain that I used to have and the debilitating stomach pain that used to prevent me from living my life. Another question I get a lot on my videos is, do I think that the herbs just suppressed my symptoms or did they actually help me heal? And I think because I don't take the herbs now unless I have a flare randomly, so I think that they helped me heal, because if they were just suppressing my symptoms, when I stopped taking them, you would think my symptoms would come back. But that has not really happened to me. I have it maybe, I would say, a little bit of heartburn maybe once a week because I am not careful, like I said. It's not anything that would keep me up at night or that would prevent me from eating, which it used to do both of those things. So I would definitely consider myself in a really good place with my gut health and my acid reflux. And again, it's because of the herbs, but mostly because of eating enough and sleeping and stress management and just taking care of myself. So I hope this was helpful. Again, this is not prescriptive in any way. I'm just sharing my personal experience in the hopes that this may help you feel less alone with your acid reflux journey. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe down below and hit all. I release new videos every week on acid reflux, gut health, yoga, wellness, and nutrition. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, let's definitely connect there at zucchini.hu. Thanks so much, and I'll see you at the next one.